You know, the bombing of Karachi harbour is something that is part of our history, Vishnu. 1971, it actually happened. This time, we know for a fact. And I remember when the media was going crazy with all kinds of misinformation about Karachi already being bombed. You and I were the only journalists. We were both live on air during that time, during Operation Sindoor, reporting the facts. And we were validated when the Indian Navy actually came on the record and said we were fully primed and ready. The words that they used were, they were ready to strike if there had been another provocation and an escalation.
Absolutely.
And who knows till where that could have gone. But I want you to paint that picture for us, naming the kinds of weapons that we must have had. You've already named the BrahMos.
Yeah, sure.
You've talked about the submarines, the frigates and the destroyers that we had there, the Vikrant as well. What would the bombing of Karachi have actually looked like? What weapons would have been used? What kind of defense would have happened? Paint us that picture, because that's something that most people are talking about.
Well, I would like to say, with a word of caution, that if we actually went ahead and did offensive operations on Karachi, the Pakistanis would have tried to have retaliated. We've got our own ports. We've got a megapolis like Mumbai as well.
Yes.
So we would need to take all of those factors into consideration. The matrix is very high. When you know, in terms of engaging a target like a city through a maritime strike, a city like Karachi, it would be pretty much at the apex level
That's
of military.
war.
I mean, it's war way beyond what we've seen so far. Many still use the word war in terms of the context of the limited sort of clashes which we've seen this time around. But India would set up an attack on Karachi using overwhelming air superiority. If we could achieve that, we'd use potentially our aircraft carriers. There would be a mass use of the Rampage missile, which is also deployable on the MiG-29K of the Indian Navy. There'd be the BrahMos, which is fired off our warships as well. There'd be P-8 aircraft, which would actually also offer a great deal of assistance in terms of potentially detecting Pakistani submarines and Pakistani ships out at sea. We'd also be using unmanned aircraft, long-range ones, whether they're made by, for example, General Atomics has platforms which operate out there. A limited number would be in the future acquiring many more of the Sea Guardian type, which would provide long-range sustained reconnaissance over what is taking place. All of our assets would be incredibly data linked, again through the use primarily of the MF star radar. They would all have integral surface to air missiles, because let's face it, if we shoot, the Pakistanis would shoot right back. What would the Pakistanis use? They'd potentially use their Babur cruise missile. So we would need to defend against that. And that's where the combination of the MF star radar and the Barak 8 or the MR SAM radar, MR SAM missile, which we operate, would be so critical.